All right. Hey there, guys. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. I'm Tashara Parker. As many of you know, we have been covering severe weather all day. Lots of tornado warnings issued throughout the day, and we're sad to report widespread damage and multiple injuries have been reported after storms hammered down on East Texas overnight and into Saturday afternoon. And one of the hardest hit areas is in Alto, Texas, where there is a triage set up. Now, that triage location is at the River Church. It's located at 585 South Market Street in Alto. If you need immediate assistance and you are able to make it to this area, that's where you should go. I do want to note that lots of people in the Alto area, they don't have power right now. So if you're able to reach out to them and let them know that this triage area is still set up, some kind of way of cell phone service is working, make sure that they actually go to that triage if they are in need of immediate assistance or even shelter, because the Red Cross is set up there. Alto ISD also announcing they have canceled all classes. A few of the campuses received quite a bit of damage, and they want to make sure the buildings are safe before students are allowed to come back. Now, in a Facebook post, Superintendent Kelly West said this: the district has suffered major damage from the storms. We will have a crew here Monday to inspect the structural integrity of all buildings. School will be canceled until everything is deemed safe for our students and staff. We are asking for all staff and community to keep a safe distance from all of our facilities at this time. She also went on to say, please pray for our children, their families, as well as that community. Again, the post coming from Superintendent Kelly West. Well, cars tossed, trees uprooted, and debris scattered everywhere. That's how it looks right now around Cattle Mound State Park. On the way up to the scene, our crew spoke to Jessica Mitchell. She's a woman who saw the whole thing go down. Now, she said cars were parked alongside the road. Once that alleged tornado touched down, all the vehicles that were parked on the street and in front of Cattle Mound's administration building got caught up in the twister and were thrown into one another. Some were still inside their vehicles, but thankfully in that area, in their vehicles, no injuries were reported.
We had a lot of hands and a lot of people cooperating, and everybody stayed in really good spirits and calm. It was a very uplifting feeling. I know in this disaster and everything, but everybody really pulled together and made it out alive.
Several first responders were on the scene along with Alto ISD school buses who were taking people by buses to nearby hospitals. Now, we were told some children were injured, not the ones that were inside the vehicles, including a little boy who lost eyesight due to the impact of a car crash. At least 20 people were taken from that scene for medical treatment. All right, we now go to CBS 19's Tim Wolf, who has been on the scene in Alto since this afternoon. He was near the northwest side of Alto, also an area hit hard by possible tornadoes. Tim?
Yeah, this spot I'm standing in right here in North Alto was actually in the direct path of two tornadoes earlier today. The first one came through and knocked down some trees. The second one knocked these houses down to their foundations. You can see this one behind me is completely destroyed. I was able to talk to some of the residents earlier today and get a first-hand account of what it was like during the moments when their houses were ripped apart. Homes completely flattened.
I don't have a house. It's gone. It's gone. There's nothing but a floor.
Residents of Alto left to clean up the mess and wonder what to do next.
Just try to do what I can to keep moving.
Shalitha Polk, who was in her home when the first tornado hit, describes the moments when she feared for her life.
It was real scary because when the first tornado came through, I was in my room asleep, and I heard the shaking and the loud wind. It sounded like a train without the whistle. I just got to my knees and prayed that everything would be okay. I would make it out.
I was in there. I was in there when they came.
Sandra Verdell was wide awake when the storm came through, but even awake, she couldn't stop a tornado from ripping her house apart.
I was up under that pile. When it was pulling the washer and dryer and stuff, I didn't have nothing to try to grab because the walls was gone. So the wind pushed me with all the furniture. And by that time, I was on the ground, and once I hit the ground, everything started piling up on top of me.
I spoke with Alto police about an hour ago, and they tell me they believe there are no more people trapped under collapsed buildings like this one. The entire city is also without power, and they say it could take up to a week for full restoration. In Alto, Tim Wolf, CBS 19.
All right, thank you so much for that report, Tim. Also in Alto tonight, meteorologist Michael Behrens, who followed along with some of the search and rescue groups earlier today. Michael, what are you seeing out there right now?
We just saw absolutely devastated homes out here to Tashara. Homes like the one behind me, completely pushed from its foundation and about, I would say, a good 40 feet the other direction. The miracle in this all, the resident of this home, she was able to make it out all right. And we have a little bit of sound from her so you can hear the experience in her own words.
As the tornado came in, I could feel the atmospheric change. My ears started popping, and I was holding onto the pillow tightly around my head, and I was just screaming in prayer and asking God to keep me safe.
And she is absolutely thankful for being able to make it through this devastating storm alive, giving praise to God here this afternoon as she made it through this storm, a storm that has left this house a total loss. We'll hear some more from her coming up in a little bit. The scene down here in Alto and anywhere around Alto is just absolutely just devastating with the amount of damage that they're going to be cleaning up from this one for quite some time. Reporting in Alto, meteorologist Michael Behrens, CBS 19.
Hey, Michael, before I let you go, can you tell me what was it like being out there with the search and rescue crews? And, you know, what are some of the things you saw? Because you've been with them since you left the station earlier today.
Yeah, you really get a sense of how the organized chaos of it all is the best way to describe it, because you're going from home to home and from street to street, doing a grid check of the region to make sure that you get everything, and you're marking those houses that you go by so you know that no one's in there. But again, you're trying your hardest to bring an organized approach to it. They had the dogs out here in case they would need them, but thankfully I don't think they needed to bring out the dogs to search some of those structures. But it's going to be cleaning up for quite some time out here. And one of the biggest battles they were fighting was the battle of sundown. It's very dark out here, and they were trying to get as much done before that sun went down, but they're going back through now doing more thorough checks as well.
Michael, I also had just one more question for you. What kind of EF damage are you seeing, or can you confirm any of that out there? Or from, you know, you're a meteorologist, can you tell us what you think may have happened out there in Alto?
Some of the damage that we've seen out here in Alto, when you see a lesser built quality home, something like a trailer home or a mobile home, you're starting to get into that EF1, EF2 kind of range. But when you see a home like this, by all accounts a well-built home, you can see there's brick elements to the foundation just completely pushed off the foundation and thrown aside. I wouldn't be surprised that by the time this gets a rating, we see it somewhere between a 3, possibly even as high as a 4 coming through the Alto area here this afternoon.
All right, Michael, thank you so much. We truly appreciate that. We'll check back in with you a little later in the show.